Hey guys,
Welcome back to the Dramatic
Elements
Podcast.
Podcast.
Welcome back for episode 6.
Episode 6. Happy belated Thanksgiving,
Yes.
everyone. Thanksgiving was yesterday, which is so
Okay,
which is
let
so
us tell
funny
you.
today
Let us tell you.
to say, considering it is November 3rd.
Right.
Fire.
So me and Skye, we realized after literally 2 seconds of publishing the first episode that, oh wait, we have a full week for Thanksgiving that we're not together and a full month for winter break that we're not together.
Yeah.
So being the literal dedicated podcasters we are,
Yes.
we made a schedule. So we will be filming,
pre-filming,
right,
a million episodes
exactly
for all those weeks, so you will never have to miss any content.
Literally.
From us.
So we have a schedule, so we will have an episode every single Friday until January 10th.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we'll continue.
Exactly, because then after that we come back
Yes.
to college and it's semester 2, season 2 will be starting.
Exactly.
That will be a whole other thing.
Right. And so this episode will not, this is episode 6.
Yeah.
This will not be airing until until Thanksgiving break. Since we're not together, we can't film it. So we're filming it now because we're
Right.
brilliant.
Because
So we literally, if you recognize
yeah, our outfits,
we just filmed episode 3.
Yes, that
So
was
go
a good
back
one.
and watch that one.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yes.
So we'll
Yeah.
be keeping up the energy for this episode.
Right.
And we're ready.
Yes.
So today we are going to be talking about the college application process, how we picked where we were even applying, then getting responses, and then choosing the final college to attend and committing there.
So much to say.
So much to say.
Yes.
So I don't know if you want to start us off just with making your college list. What were you
Sure.
looking for? Obviously your acting programs.
Okay, so let me tell you. So basically, college audition process for acting and musical theater students is whack as hell, let me tell you, because the thing is, you're encouraged to apply for like a bunch of schools. So personally, I applied to 14, I want to say, just because it's super subjective. Like,
Right.
you have to get in academically, but you also have to get in artistically. And for me, I was putting, like, even if I had like a dream school, but I got in academically and not artistically, pass.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like I want to be an acting major. So
Yeah.
I applied to about 14 schools, and the research that I put into this was extensive.
Yeah.
So basically, I was working with my acting coach for my college auditions was also her like business is like she does actor coaching, like monologue work, but also like she's like a college counselor for acting specifically.
Right.
So she had me like tell her a bunch of information about stuff that I wanted in schools, and then she gave me like a list of probably like 13 extremely competitive schools, 13 I'm guessing like highly competitive schools, and then 13 like competitive schools.
Right.
Because you have to be in the mindset of there is literally no safety school in this case. Like everything's competitive.
Right.
Because as we know, my class is 18 people, and that is very standard.
And that's her whole freshman class.
Right.
Like that's not the class she's in. That is the freshman class.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's like standard.
Crazy.
Like pretty much all the acting programs around the country are less than 25 people.
Right.
For the whole freshman class.
Yeah.
And so when you think about that versus the amount of applicants, like you can't apply to 4 schools and you can't call any school a safety school because you just don't know. So anyway, I researched off of that list and then came up with this could take so much of explaining, but basically I researched off of that and came up with my like 13 or 14 schools, and a couple of those schools came from okay.
Getting serious.
So there's the thing, there's something called unifieds, okay? So that is basically, there's Pittsburgh unifieds, Chicago unifieds, New York unifieds, and LA unifieds. Pittsburgh is the small one at the very beginning of the year. It's in October, I want to say. And this is basically, unifieds are a time where a bunch of acting and musical theater programs at a bunch of universities or colleges come together in a specific city
Mm-hmm.
and audition and you just have like all your auditions for them. Okay.
Oh,
And
right.
so Pittsburgh Unifieds is basically, it's different than the other three in that Pittsburgh Unifieds, you don't apply before. You just get to audition for everybody.
Right.
And so in October 2023, I did Pittsburgh Unified. So what I did was I did it over Zoom because I live in Chicago, and I basically got on a Zoom with a bunch of head of the acting programs at a bunch of different schools.
Yeah.
And I just did my audition as if it was a full audition for them.
Right.
And then if any school wants to call you back, do your callbacks. And then I got accepted to maybe 2 or 3 programs from just Pittsburgh Unified.
Oh, cool.
So what that tells you is that you didn't have to apply. You just get to get your foot in the door. And so that was really helpful. So 3 of those like 2 or 3 schools that I got accepted to were obviously on my list because I got accepted. Yeah. And then 2 or 3 schools that I originally wanted to apply to, I didn't get in through Pittsburgh Unified, so they were off my list.
Oh,
does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we'll get back to Unifieds because that matters later in the story, but that's how I made my list.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I made my list. I had different schools in mind just from over the years. Obviously, you hear about different schools and things, but specifically UT Austin was never on my radar. I never thought of coming to Texas or anything. But what I started doing to kind of grow my list, because obviously it's different, but I still wanted a good list of like 12 to like 15 schools. I ended up applying to 13. And so I literally just looked up best colleges for chemistry and literally looked at, it's some like popular website. I don't know what it was exactly. But it literally just had a list like ranking all colleges in the United States for chemistry.
Yeah.
Like just in the chemistry field. I don't know. So I literally just went through that list and picked colleges that I thought I would be interested in. I had a lot of very specific things I was looking for, like how you said you spent a lot of time on your list. I also spent a lot of time on my list because I was very picky, which I think is very good. Yeah. Obviously, you should be picky. I knew that I really couldn't handle the cold. I really didn't want to go up north and be freezing. I just don't. I do not know how I would handle that. So I wasn't really looking into many schools like that. I really did not want a school that wasn't like the middle of nowhere. Like I wanted a city. So I was really picky with that, looking only at schools that had that. And then once I found schools off of that list that fit those general things of being like, oh, big city, maybe more warm, or I don't know. Then I would really look into the school and look at what programs they had specifically and just more facts about the school, and really just went off of vibes. Like, am I getting a good vibe from this? I would look up schools on TikTok and YouTube and watch people's day in the life and see if it just looked like a community that I could be a part of. You know what I mean? So through all of that, I made my list of 13 schools, also being very conscious of having safety schools, target schools, and then reach schools. And I also was working with a college counselor, so they kind of helped me organize that as well and really told me, oh, this school is a target for you, or this school is a reach for you, or a safety, or whatever. And I also obviously had a lot of Florida schools because I'm from Miami, so if I didn't get into an out-of-state school I liked, obviously it was important to have a lot of Florida schools since financially those are more smart. Those are smarter anyway. Yeah. So yeah, and I don't know if you have anything to say or want to talk about the application process then more. Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. So I decided early on that I didn't want to apply anywhere in the Midwest. So I was not considering like Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Iowa, none of that. Yeah. And I was not, Texas was like very much not on my radar, to be honest, until the very end, genuinely to the very end, because honestly, I was like, oh, I love Austin. I'd been here a bunch of times. I love Austin. This program looks cool, da da da. I'd never been to the campus,
and I was like, and the Texas acting program is less talked about than a lot of other acting programs because they don't have as much of like a social media presence until this year they started, but this is the first year UT acting has an Instagram. They literally made it this year, and they don't have a TikTok, and that is a huge thing, like huge, like everybody I know looking up day in the life, like I love that. So they don't have as much of a presence, but they are a very high ranked acting program. People just don't talk about them, which is super weird. But anyway, I was very I was confident I wasn't getting in academically because I just was. And so I think that's part of the reason why I wasn't even on my radar, because I was like, I'm applying, but like, I'm not, like, what? You know? So anyway, when I did Pittsburgh Unified, that was the bomb, because I had the biggest fear for me going into this application process was, what if I get into 0 schools? Because I knew for a fact I was going to get into at least one school academically. Like, I was confident on that. But what if I got into 0 schools artistically? Then that's a big fear. And so to have Pittsburgh Unifieds, even though the schools that I got into I didn't end up touring, I still had the like, okay, I'm going to school for acting. You know what I mean? So the application process is horrendous.
Let me tell you guys what just happened. So, basically when we are filming our fun episodes, we basically just talk about our main conversation point for the day for like as long as we can. And then I get up and check and see how long we've been talking, and then we either continue talking about that topic or jump right into our dramatic elements and finish up that episode. So, just note my surprise when I stand up and walk over there and see that we are not rolling. There's no video being taken. There's no content being recorded. It is just like a little notification on Shaya's phone screen saying something about storage space.
So basically we just filmed for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, but you've only seen about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it just ended. So when I tell you we are rallying to the greatest degree.
Because once again, we filmed an episode before this. This is episode 2.
We have been sitting on this couch for over 2 hours at this point.
Like, we've been sitting on this couch for some time. But we're rallying because Shaya's about to start crew, and we just don't have time to do this again another day. So we're rallying.
Okay, let's continue the story. Here we go. I believe I was talking about the application process, which I've already talked about. Here we fucking go. It's terrible. Let me tell you why. Basically, in a normal application process, you have your Common App, you have your supplementals per school. That's it. For artistic applications, you have that, and then an artistic supplementals. So you're writing about 2 supplementals for the academic, and then your Common App, and then about 2 artistic per school. And so what I was saying was that it's hard to just copy and paste, because you can't just say, why blank? Oh, well, let me tell you why blank. No. Each like school is, each program for acting is so specific to that school and so unique. So you really have to write new essays every single time. And then it's like, why, like, what's a favorite role you've played? Like, how does art impact your life? It's just like a lot of really creative writing that is not easy, and it's all due November 1st. So basically, that's why that part is very stressful. And then on top of that, you have your monologues. So everybody has to learn, like, basically a modern comedic monologue, a modern dramatic monologue, and a classical monologue, which is like Shakespearean times. And you have to learn like a 60-second version of each and a 90-second version of each. And then what you do is, it's called pre-screens, and pretty much all schools have it, and it's basically like the first round of auditions. So what you would do is you'd film, let's say a school asks for like modern dramatic and classical. Okay, but no, both 90 seconds. That's what you send in, or 60 seconds. That's what you send in, or to modern, or da da. You know what I mean? Like whatever the school wants. So you film. What I did was with my acting coach and my like college coach. We did like 2 hours of filming together. So she like gave me notes and stuff until they were like, because these are like important videos, you know. And then you'd send in whatever the school wants, and then you'd get an email a little, depending if it's like rolling or not, you'd get an email a little later being like, you passed, which means you're on to the next round of auditions, or you didn't pass, which means you're declined artistically from the school.
Right.
And then after that is when unifieds would come in, which is where that's the second round of auditions.
Right.
And then that's the end of the application process for the artistic stuff.
Right. So very long, very extensive.
Right.
Right. I had a more just basic traditional college application experience. I know I wanted to add on from before that when I was looking for colleges, I was very into the research programs and seeing how big like the undergraduate research opportunities were at each college. And literally one of the biggest things that made UT Austin my number one school was the day that I found out that they are the number one undergraduate research college in the United States. That's literally insane.
Yeah.
So getting into my college application process, I also had a college counselor, which I think I already mentioned, but basically I would work with her all the time on all my different essays. First, we perfected up my Common App essay, and then we moved on to the 1,000,001 supplementals, specifically the million UT supplementals, because UT loves to ask for just extra things.
Right.
How kind. But eventually perfected all of those essays and then got to submitting. And literally a year ago was the big, like, wait, I just submitted all of these applications and now I'm just waiting around.
Right.
And
to see how my fate lies before me.
Literally. So, talking about that time where you've just submitted all your applications, and many people watching, if you're a year younger, you're literally in this moment right now.
Right.
Yeah, literally. Of just waiting around for decisions to come back.
Right.
I feel like the best piece of advice that I was given, or just thing that I was told, you're a smart person. No matter where you end up, you're going to make yourself successful. 100%. Because you're going to put in the work. Because I know about a year ago, literally right now, I had just finished, or I wasn't completely done, but I was basically submitted to all my schools. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just getting worried. Hello, like it's all in their hands. It gets stressful when it's like, because you're putting in all this work and you're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna pay off. And then you just submit. Yes. And then you're just sitting ducks. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yes. And the fate of your future is in someone's hands. That's terrifying.
Exactly. No,
not
it's
being
insane.
In control like that's terrifying.
And then I was told that piece of advice where literally, if you went to a community college, if you went to an Ivy League, no matter what, it's all about what you do with your time there.
Yeah.
And the professors and the different like bonds you can make with the people there, the staff there, everything. Yeah. So it's really about what you do with your college experience.
It's also 4 years of your life. And exactly. I feel like these 4 years are like, oh my God, it's the best time of your life. You're going to have a good experience. And also, if you have an asshole experience, you can always leave. You can literally always transfer. You can always leave. Like it's okay.
No, yeah.
Like I feel like you need to find the balance between this is important, but this is not the end of my life.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. There's also just a big pressure of how is everyone else doing? Oh my gosh, everybody's getting into these big schools and where am I going? It's so crazy.
Complicated.
It's crazy.
And so
focus on yourself.
Yes. The pressure from the outside world and from watching it personally, since I didn't commit until literally the last moment, I felt like even in April when I was just trying to decide when I was touring, I literally thought I was the last human being on earth to not know where they were going to college. I was freaking out. I had thought all of my friends had committed, which is just literally not true. They did not
Right.
have, they were not all committed, but it
Right.
felt like that. And it also just felt like, I don't know if your school does this. I don't know if this is a countrywide thing, to be quite honest. It
Let's
probably
hear
is,
it.
though. Does your high school do, they have like a class of 2024 like page, like
Yeah,
a seniors
an Instagram?
page? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. That,
And they post everybody.
so cute. I have mine on there. No
Me
shame.
too. Yeah.
But it's the like, Boom's going to Harvard, Boom's going to UMich, da 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 da, and I'm thinking, oh my god, guys.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm thinking also, besides the 10 people that I enjoyed from high school, I don't care about anybody's opinion. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
those 10 people are going to be happy for me no matter where I land.
Right.
But the way we like create as a society college to be this huge thing, and this like scale, you know, of like
Yeah. Good school,
everybody
bad
freaks out when
school.
somebody
What are
goes
we
to
talking
UMich,
about?
and then nobody gets attention when somebody goes to a school that's right for them. Do you know what I mean? That might just be
Yes.
less known.
Oh my gosh.
And
I
it's
didn't talk about that
it's
before.
rough. It is
Yeah.
rough. Like my school does. Oh, I told you about this. My school does like a senior barbecue on the last
Yeah.
day. My high school.
Yeah.
The last day for the seniors, senior barbecue. Everybody wears their college merch. It's like this whole thing,
Mhm.
and that's all grand and dandy.
Right.
But what about the kids who aren't going to college? What about the kids who
Right.
can't afford to go to college, or just don't want to
Yeah.
go, or just like feel insecure about? Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it is
No,
just
yeah.
it's complicated.
Different people have so many different paths, and the biggest thing to remember is that you are you, and just do what's
Yep.
best for you.
Yep.
And literally focus
And
on
this
you.
is literally
girl. Like-
your life.
Yeah.
It is literally your life. And also, I just think about the fact that like, well, I guess it depends on your opinion, but I think about in the way of like, you only live once, of like, don't you never make a decision based off of anybody else's opinion. This is
Right.
about you.
Right.
You know, this is your journey. Because also, we were talking about how we both had schools that interested us deeply, that either we didn't, you said you didn't end up applying to
Yes.
the school that you really loved or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I was talking about how I had a school that I did apply to that I loved and that I was convinced I was going to, that I didn't end up getting into, and I was devastated. And that was the first school I got. That was the first school I got the letter back from.
Yeah.
And that was a rejection, and it was my top school, so it was a hard moment for me.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I'm so happy here, and that school's so different than UT, and I love it here, and I'm glad I ended up here. So
Yeah.
that's the thing too, is like, even though it's an insanely stressful time, and it totally makes sense why it's stressful,
Yeah.
obviously, like this is where you're spending the next 4 years and where you're getting your education, but like
I'm dead at this.
there's gonna be twists and turns.
Yes, there are. Gonna
And
be
that's
twists
just
and turns.
inevitable.
It's such an unpredictable process.
Right.
You need to be like open to different
Yes.
outcomes happening.
And you know,
because
that's like where it
different
gets
things are
dangerous
going
too,
to
is when
happen.
you get too attached to a school.
Right.
Because I know so many people who got too attached, including myself. With that specific school, I got so attached to this
Yeah.
school, bro. I literally was like, yes, like da 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 da. And then it does you dirty when you don't get in. You know what I mean? Or when it also what it does. Let me
Oh.
say this. A new thought.
She's sitting up.
What I'm saying is not just not getting in, but if you get super 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 attached to school and then you get in, and then it's not as what you thought it was, or maybe there's another school that you in reality is better for you, it's so much harder to leave that dream school that you're attached
Right.
to, because it's this idea of the school rather than what it actually is, and if this is good for you. So I feel like you should get into schools, and you should totally have like schools that are on the top of your list, but like I feel like an open mind is crucial in
Yeah.
like all college application processes.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So that can even lead us into picking a school in the end, which
Right.
was quite a short and sweet process for me, considering I had gotten into my dream school, and then after that, I kept on, like, I just kept on researching it more and more, because now I was like, wait, I really could go here.
Right.
So, I did research it a lot more, and everything, the more I learned about the school, the more I loved it. And after I had gotten in is when I actually learned about the program that I'm in today, FRI, Freshman Research Institute,
Mhm.
which is literally everything and more that I could have dreamed of, because what freshman is doing research? Like,
right.
that's a very rare thing to happen. Normally you start research your junior or senior year.
That's interesting.
So getting guaranteed a position, like I had to apply into the FRI program, but knowing that if I got into that program, I would literally be in research in a lab in my spring semester of my freshman year is just insane.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then I did come and visit here because everybody was like, you don't know the vibes until you see it in person. And
True. So true.
Yeah.
So true. And even though you were intuitively correct,
right,
that is literally so true. You have to go visit. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so true.
No, and I came to the campus and saw that it had the like traditional campus where it's just the school buildings and things like that, but it's also right next to downtown, like literal 6-minute bus drive, and you're in the middle of downtown. Which I really loved because I wanted a big city where I could see different kinds of people and just have so many different opportunities. Right. Yeah. And this school really did that for me. And I was like, wow, I need to go there. So once I had gotten in here and then all of that was confirmed, like that I liked everything else about it, I was pretty dead set. I did wait until all my like application like responses came out,
right? Because why not?
Yeah, might as well wait and see what happens. But this was the school for me, which was fun. Yeah. So
mine was rockier. Mine was so I mentioned Pittsburgh Unifieds. Now let's talk about Chicago, New York, LA Unifieds. Yes. So we know what Unifieds is. These 3 Unifieds, you can't do them on Zoom. They're in person in a grand city. You know, New York and Chicago are the biggest ones, and it's basically all these applicants around the country for acting and musical theater majors come to these Chicago, let's say, like as an example specifically, and just audition, and knock them all out, which is super smart the way they do it. But that's how they do it. And so I didn't go to New York or LA. I just went to Chicago because it's a hop, skip, and a drop away. Why would I travel, you know? And so I had like all my in-person auditions besides UT, and like I think I want to say I did one other school on Zoom. I don't really remember, but I think yes. And so I had done my UT Zoom callback in late January, and then Chicago Unifieds was like February like 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th or whatever.
Yeah. And
in those like 4 days, I had like 7 or 8 in-person auditions for the rest of my schools. And so UT loved the people on the callback, loved that. But I still, and honestly, after my UT audition, I was a little, because you know, you can feel the vibes.
Yeah.
We're vibing. I feel like I have a good chance. We're vibing versus you guys were nice, and I think I did a good job, but I don't know if I'm getting into this school.
Yeah.
You can just really feel the vibe. And I feel like that's also a unique thing.
Yeah.
Which is that you don't get to know who's reading your thing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't get to vibe with them. Yeah. I'm in the room with the person who's deciding if I get in.
That's crazy.
So if we're like, there was one school that I ended up touring that I was highly considering.
Yeah.
And it was me and the woman on the Zoom. That was the other Zoom one.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, right.
That was the other Zoom one. Talked for 30 minutes. And usually these are 5-minute max auditions. We literally talked for 30 minutes. I was like, come on, girl. You love me. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a vibe. UT faculty loved them.
Yeah.
Felt a little more confident that I could get in artistically. Still thought negative amounts of confident I was going to get in academically, so I still didn't get attached to the school in any way or really even research it very much. Then, second night of Chicago Unifieds, I'm in my hotel with my mother, and I don't even know why. For some reason, I went to the UT portal. I don't even know why. I hadn't gotten the email yet. I refreshed. I said, what?
Yeah.
It was like, welcome to acting BFA class of 2020.
So
I said,
crazy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's literally come again. My mom and I are screaming, literally screaming. It was like probably that and 2 other schools were the 3 times where I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited that I got in. And so after that is when I was like, oh my God, this is a possible reality, like for real,
Yeah.
let me research and do a deep dive. So I did my little deep dive and I started thinking, oh, wait, this is fire. Like, the faculty was great. Like, the curriculum is brilliant. I'm like really into film. Like, that's what I really want to do in the long run. And this was one of very few programs that focuses a lot on film. Like, I don't know if I would say 50-50, but definitely a good amount of class and work on voiceover and film versus just stage acting, which was important to me. And then I found out that the last semester of senior year, all the acting majors spend that semester in LA. And I was like, wait,
whoa,
come again? Because I wanted to go to California for college. And then I was like, wait, this is literally the best of both worlds because I can live somewhere else and experience something else at this school that is really cool, but also I get to go and get a head start. I mean, this is super sick. So then early mid-March, I got all my acceptance, like finished getting my acceptances and decided where to tour. And so I chose UT as one of the four schools to tour. And I was saying that, like, I, throughout my process, focused so much on the acting program and what's the curriculum versus the school as a whole. And so when you look at the 4 schools, I toured one that was super, super urban, literally like NYU type urban.
Right.
One UT that's very like city surrounding but campus.
Yeah.
One that was literally basically a singular building. That's how tiny it was.
Oh my gosh.
And one that was like pretty small and pretty campusy, but not that small. Somewhere in the middle of that and UT.
Yeah.
And so literally it was every side of the spectrum, literally. Yeah. And so it was going to depend a lot on the campus.
Yeah.
So I went to the first 2 schools and I just was like, this isn't really my vibe. I didn't see myself at either of the campuses.
Yeah.
And then went to UT and said, oh, sign me up. Literally, let me pull up right now and I will be here. And I shadowed classes and I thought they were so cool and I loved the faculty and I learned even more about COFA and like just about the program, like performing arts here in general. And then I went to tour my final school, which was one of my literally top 3 the entire time. Was like, loved the school, loved the program, and so I was like, wait, I love UT, but like, what about this one? And anyway, so I went there and I shadowed classes there too, and they were absolutely brilliant. It just was like the campus and the school was just not, it was very clear that it was not right for me. It just was not right for what I wanted for my college experience. Yeah. And so I got back to my hotel and I was distraught for about 2 hours because I was just like, I know what my heart is telling me and my brain. I'm very confident of where I'm supposed to go and where I know I'll be happy. But it's hard to deny a school like that. It's really hard, especially like when it's a school that's you just respect. Like, it's hard to deny that. But then I was like, girl, what are you even talking about for real? Like, what are you talking about? So that night I said, you'll catch me in Texas, the gayest girl alive. Literally,
that was such a weird, like, I'm going to Texas. I'm going to Texas.
But then I said, wait, I'm going to Austin,
which everyone says is like so different.
Right. It is so different. I think it's super different.
Yeah, than the rest of Texas.
Everyone here is gay.
No, literally everyone.
So it was fine. But then I didn't commit until late May just because of finances. Yeah. Because we're both out of state, and out of state at Texas is significantly higher than in state. Yeah. And so it took a while to get like all my finances like ducks in a row, and then once I was like, okay, I'm satisfied with this, let me commit, let me press the button. But I had been mentally committed for a hot minute there. Yeah.
Hey, we should get into, so we're filming this way in advance, right, as we mentioned. So we figured for our most dramatic element, we're gonna talk about our predictions of the drama of going home for the first time after getting to college. I left Miami October, bruh. August 22nd.
Yep, same.
And I will be flying home November 23rd.
Right.
What?
So that, yeah, exactly like 3 months basically.
Yeah.
And I fear the drama will ensue within my brain.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be like it's just gonna be a mind fuck. Like, wait, what am I doing here?
I'm back home, and my best friend Sarah, she recently, her school has like a fall break, so she has a shorter Thanksgiving break, but she also has like 2 days off in the middle of like the semester, kind of.
Yeah.
So she was able to go home, and she was talking about how the second she got home, she was like, "Oh, so I was dreaming. I'm never going back there. That was just all fake." And then she suddenly got on a plane to go back, and it was like, "Wait a second. What's happening?"
I think that's what's gonna happen to me too.
Especially because we're going home for 9 days or 7, 8 days,
a week. Yeah, like
right. Well, because I fly
like
home
8 or 9 days,
and then I'm flying back Monday, 8 days. December 8th. Yeah,
you are.
I am. Or December 2nd. Where am I on my dates right now?
Somewhere.
December 2nd.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
So, what?
So,
like, I'm just gonna get comfy cozy at home again, and then have to come back. And the fact that we come back and have 1 week, basically. Well, I have 2 weeks. You have 1 week.
Literally 1 week, and then I'm back again
for
winter break for a month, which is going to be, I mean, that's a whole other ball of wax.
And then we come back again. That's just all going to be so weird. And Thanksgiving break, I can just picture the chaos between my girlfriend, my parents, my sister, my friends. What's happening with everyone? Where is everybody? I want to see everyone for the whole 7 days.
I'm not going to be in bed. I'm not going to be at home a day. I literally think I'll have someone new in front of me every seconds.
Hour.
Yes.
Every hour there's going to be somebody
I also
new.
just am so excited.
Oh, I could not be more excited.
So excited.
I also just want to like be alone in Miami. Like, I just want to drive around in my little car.
I'm so excited to drive around.
So excited.
I'm so excited to see my I'm so excited to see my family, but I'm excited to see my because it's Thanksgiving, like my cousins,
we're seeing
my grandparents.
everybody.
I'm so excited. Like, hand me that turkey, hand me that mashed potato. I am literally so excited.
Yeah.
That's gonna be so yummy.
No,
and I do think though it's gonna be weirder for me the being there than coming back. I think it's gonna be really weird for me to be there, to just be home and be like, oh my God.
And have to be like telling everyone about, I know I'm going to be giving the shame spiel over and over and over.
Wait, I totally
how was college?
Yes.
How was college? Girl, how do I sum up the past craziest 3 months ever for you in 10 minutes?
Right.
Girl, I need 24 hours.
The weirdest part to me is how comfortable I've become in this. This
is my normal now.
This is my normal now, and that's disgusting compared to the 18 years I've spent at home.
And
why am I thinking that it's going to be? But I do think it's going to be weird. Like, I really do.
Oh yeah.
You know? But
no,
I think that's where the drama will really ensue.
Yeah.
Also, Thanksgiving. Who knows what could happen? You know how it is.
No,
So I feel like when we get back, we will have much to discuss.
Oh, yeah.
About Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Literally, as this podcast comes out, I'll be texting you, OMG, podcast coming out instead of us celebrating in our room.
Exactly.
That's so weird.
We're going to have to make TikToks from home.
Oh, my God. The individual on Zoom. We need to make a Zoom TikTok announcing this week's episode. That's crazy.
So, be ready.
Be ready for everything.
We have now been sitting on this couch for probably 3 hours.
I think it's been 3 months. I think I've actually just spent my 3 months right here.
Yep.
We've been talking for so long.
Yes. And we are absolutely dedicated. We are absolutely ready.
I think we proved our dedication today.
Yeah, if this doesn't prove it, I don't know what does.
I literally don't know what
does.
No, we've been here for a minute, but it's been fun. It's been cute.
We did so cute. We've talked. We've gone into some good stuff.
Yes, we have. No, for sure. Make sure to leave a like, a comment. Let us know your thoughts. Head over to Spotify. Fill out the Spotify poll.
Tap on that poll.
Tell us what you want to see.
Yes.
Leave us a review.
Thank you for listening to our chaotic times today.
Thank you for being here. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving and are enjoying your Thanksgiving break. Right, whatever that entails. Maybe you're enjoying some Black Friday deals today.
Oh my
Because
god.
it's freaking Black Friday.
Tell us what you bought.
Yes, literally.
Literally tell us what you bought.
We'll see you soon.
Love you.
Love you.